Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the 13th Fleet After Action Report. Want to remind you that this is being brought to you by Admiral Tater's Ship Shop, so if you need some high-quality accessories for your Armada games, there is no better place to go. You've probably already seen some of them if you've been to tournaments. He supplies a lot of the prize support for tournaments, so definitely something that you want to check out. As for us, well, we are here tonight to bring you another edition of the After Action Report. We're going to be focusing on our Clone Wars version of Rebellion in the Rim. I do want to give another programming note before we get started about Thursday. While I do love streaming Thursday Night Armada, unfortunately we still haven't tracked down what the audio issue is on the stream. It's not affecting recording it, so we are just going to be recording this Thursday, which means that we will have the actual video up sometime this weekend so that you can catch what will be the pivotal battles. But let's go ahead, and we are joined tonight by Garrett and Reuben. Silence at the start of the show. Is
it all silent?
Oh no!
Yeah, you
Are we
guys
all
have
gone?
been silent, and I've just been here watching you guys talk because I'm a loser.
Well, that's okay. We're only 6 minutes in. I'm rewinding.
Oh,
I'm rewinding. I'm bringing it back.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having us on,
We're
Chris.
back.
I'm still Garrett. That's still Reuben. You
Still
missed
here.
what we talked about. It was news. While Ken from Iron Radio and I were at Gen Con hanging out, we were walking the halls and we ran into Will Schick from Atomic Mass Games, and he confirmed that there is one last Armada errata coming in October, just like last year. And that's really exciting. We have no details on what it entails. I'm sure you can suss out some rumors out there on the internet. It could be really good. It could be RR2. I don't know. Depends.
Now, I do have a question on that I didn't get to the first time you went through anyway.
Yes.
We know that there's going to be erratas. Do we think that there is going to be like rapid reinforcements, something along those lines as well?
I'm going to say, I don't know. We don't know.
No indication one way or another.
Maybe.
So, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. Right? They've been adding stuff to the game every year for like 3 years. So I guess precedent says yes. Maybe. But we just don't know. They might just make it so you can only have 50 squadrons, 50 points in squadrons, and that's it. I'll say this. I will say I'm pretty sure Jindal is probably not going to make it out of this unscathed. I think that is. I'd bet five tater dollars on it. Yeah.
How much do tater dollars buy?
It's a 1-to-1 USD currency exchange, so $5. But then what I was going to say, if it is bad, let's say it is bad, the ARC, the Armada Rule Set Collective, has officially launched. They've set sail in space with solar sails like Geonosis, and they have a sub Discord called the Armada Rule Set Collective on the Armada Hub Discord. If you need links, let us know. We'll send you there. And they announced a letter with all the names of all the really smart people working on it, which is exciting. Long-time community leaders, long-time players, top-level Worlds players. It's a good list. It's a great list.
It is.
I feel very confident. So, which means as we get closer to Worlds and after, we'll have more news of like what the ARC is doing to correct our beloved game, because a lot of those early wave expansions are pretty meh now, and there's a lot of opportunity to like bring stuff that hasn't been played since like 2015 into the future, and then of course full pundit.
Great.
So we did that, and then what did we talk about?
Devastator stocks up.
Devastator stocks up. Corruptor stocks up. I was going to say, the next thing we talked about was our internal Rebellion in the Rim updates. Ruby gets to start over and talk about version 9.2, where we've added some pivotal stuff and a really cool way to use the diplomat token.
Yes. So for the pivotal battles, I've added one pivotal option to the campaign to bring the total options to 4. And the reason you need 4 is that if you're playing a 8-player campaign, you now have the option to play 2 sets of 2 pivotals at the end of each act, and the game is over 2 acts instead of 3. Instead of there being just the option for one final 4v4 battle, now you have the option of one big 4v4 or 2 2v2s, which necessitated adding another pivotal to the game. And that pivotal is all-out offensive. It works similarly to Hyperspace Assault, if you've ever played that objective. So the attacking and defending players can each set aside a number of ships and squadrons that can hyperspace into the battle while the game is being played. It uses victory tokens as its markers on the game board instead of objective tokens because they can't be affected by the strategic movement of tokens with squadrons, and they still move at the end of each turn. It's the major difference is that the assaulting player's team hyperspaces in their ships first at the start of the round, and then the defender hyperspaces in if they want. It targets neutral locations on the map instead of presence locations. So that change has caused the demonstration of force pivotal battle to also have changed. So now demonstration of force targets enemy presence locations that are near each other. So how these ones work with how the map works now, you pick one planet to be the destination planet for all 4 fleets involved, or 8. And then you pick one planet that's within distance 1, not counting the hyperlane, of that target planet to be the secondary target planet. It's a little janky, but it's the best way to clearly explain how it all works given the framework of how fleets move now. So the demonstration of force now targets enemy presence locations, and now you can remove presence from the board. So we've added one where you can add presence. We've added one where we've changed one where it removes presence, and then you still have move a base and destroy a base if you win. So we have 4 pivotals that are now engaged in the game so that you have more options at all levels of play, because if you play a 4 or 6 player game, you're going to have 4 options instead of just 3. So that last pivotal won't be set in stone which one it is, which I think is a really...
Yeah, it adds a little mystery to it, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
In general, we can all tell you from experience that all these rules add a lot of mystery to what's going on.
It's a lot
harder to gauge who's where, and what's what, and what's going to happen. And then dice start getting thrown, and it really just goes out the window.
Tell us about the diplomat upgrade.
So, right now for 0.9.2, we've changed the diplomat token. Well, we've added an effect to it. So, we'll do some cool spoilers of what design I'm working on right now. But for now, well, let's start with the diplomat token is a difficult token to get to do what it feels like it should do in the game, and it's been an issue since the first time we played. Like, I thought it was going to be really useful and interesting, and it turns out it's not. So originally, we made it so that when you use a diplomat's token, it makes a planet count as your presence for enemy movement. And so far, that hasn't been used. It just hasn't been strong enough to compete with things like resource and ally tokens. So, what we're doing now, and what's been added with 0.9.2, is the ability for the diplomat's token to be assigned to a player. And when that player is defending, when the assaulting player picks one of their objectives, you can spin the diplomat token assigned to your fleet and say, pick a different one. And that was your idea, Chris, and yeah, it's a really good, interesting, simple but meaty decision rule, and that's the kind of rules I really am trying to design for in this game, and it's led me on a different trajectory with the diplomat token in general, to where it will only, what it will do is it will affect how you play objectives at planets. because the trying to guess where anybody's going to go is really hard, basically impossible. So you never use the diplomat's token for that. And if you're behind on presence, they're just going to fly through their own presence, so you can't like get an angle on them anyways. So I'm probably going to just remove that rule and then also make the diplomat token instead. When it chooses a planet, that planet's objective cards on it don't supersede the fleet objective cards, which also gives the diplomat token some utility for attacking teams.
Yeah, I love this. I love the change. I love the idea that the second player can take away that first objective option. Because if you don't want the enemy to get a specific upgrade that they need to play green objective with, it's so good to remove that option. So
interesting.
Just wrecks their whole plan, especially if they're attacking a planet that is squadrons or a title or something they're specifically searching for. You can wreck their whole plan, because if they can't take that, they got to take a base one, and maybe they already had this plan internally where someone was already going to take a base upgrade, and so now one of these fleets is not getting an upgrade.
Yeah, or you're getting something weird that you didn't really expect.
Right, you're just like wasting a slot on some nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited about that. But we're going to move into our first, I guess, direct week of action here, because last time we had a little bit of a delay. So we did one round. This is the third round, and the Republic was on the back foot after the second round, so they had initiative. Or no, we were tied, weren't we?
Yeah.
So I still had initiative.
Yeah,
because we're the invader force.
It's been a little bit weird.
So I don't remember what I declared first, but I do know I think we sent Chris after Mon Cala first.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the really great thing about this is just the level of piloting that was going on, because that's I think dice did have a big effect. I mean I won't lie on that. The first two shots that I got off with some bombers were pretty epic. Getting a hit crit with both of the bombers there was just amazing. But ultimately, I had placed my hard cell dead center of the map, heading towards where the prototype was, hoping to get Aaron to commit. I had a lot more squads to place out, so I could know exactly where he placed everything. He ended up placing his flag right in the center and had the consular on one side, and he had his Pelta on the other side, and he put his two squads between the Pelta and the Venator. And with that, I just decided, okay, I am going to focus on the consular, because I felt it was the safer bet. Ended up coming in at speed 2 to start off with, and cut hard with the hard cell so that I could get over the recusant in round 2, in turn 2, speeding up to speed 3 with everything. Had a great first volley with the squads, but I didn't really have anything that reached him to follow up with it. So I had, after the third round, the consular had 2 hull damage, but I didn't have the means to finish it. I was kind of worried that I wasn't going to get there. Squads kind of tussled a little bit. I got his squads out. He took out 2 of my vultures. The prototype I never went for. I didn't see the point in it. He made one attempt at it, and when he didn't get it...
Let's talk about that a little bit. So prototype recovery is a difficult objective to accomplish, because you have to activate within distance one of it. I think you need a squadron command, and you have to roll a blue crit to recover it. Those are three insanely difficult things to accomplish.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about Aaron had low morale on his fleet. Did you guys remember to assign one of those to? Did you pick?
Yeah, the options
Bay?
were he could either have the squads at the back of the map, which, given that he only had 2 squads, I saw no point in that. He was actually reduced to holding 1 less command token on each ship. So
that's a huge disadvantage,
especially with the consular.
Right, because it's a command 1 ship, and his whole fleet is actually kind of a token control fleet because he has Fats on the Venator.
Yeah.
I told him, I was like, look, you can go around and you'll take low parts and low fuel, or you can take low morale. And then he was like, I'll take low morale. And then after the game, I went, I did my coach thing and I walked around everybody. And he was like, I did not understand how bad those would be. And I was like, I told you.
Yeah, so these conditions are starting to
they
come
suck.
up. Yeah.
They're coming up for one team.
So, well, we're about to wait for the pivotal. So Chris, you did not go for the prototype, and you managed to. How'd you finish off the consular? And how did you avoid getting hit by the Fats?
Sheer blind luck, I honestly would say. I mean, I was trying to pilot to. I had anticipated with my plan that I was going to take 1 shot from the Svats. I knew I was going to take 1 shot, and it just so happened that I piloted just well enough that I was millimeters outside of the range of the Svats, so he never got a shot off. And because of the way that he had to pilot to keep the consular from running off the map, I was able to swing back around and he ran right into me, face first, with no shields. So that pretty much finished off the consular on the last turn of the game.
Damn.
That's big. I think Aaron is a master engineer, which I bet he's wishing for that master nav right now to be able to swing that Venator harder. Chris, what is your upgrades?
I'm running Master Navigator and Master Coordinator 1.
Yeah, because you got addicted to that with your ISD 2 from last campaign.
Man, I would not do anything without Master Navigator in the campaign anymore. I just movement is life.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I didn't really engage much with the squads outside of trying to take care of his squads, and I got a good chance to throw the bombers in on the consular. So outside of that, I was trying to stay out of his flak bubble because it is pretty significant.
Right, it's double on I think each ship.
Yep.
There's one of them that doesn't have double. I think
consular.
Yeah,
I think the consular.
But yeah, I just kind of danced around him. I was amazed at how well I was able to get the to get the hard cell just completely away from what was going on, so it was never really a target.
His Venator 2 was our scarred ship because in the last round I was sitting there doing the math, and it was lose a contain token on the C-70 and lose like 5 points worth of hull off of squads. And then I was sitting there going like, oh man, this is rough. But I put the math together and it came out to be like just 1 or 2 points within to be able to just say, okay, one of these Venators is getting scarred. Get through without your contain, be a little safe, and then hopefully we can repair it off depending on how the next round goes. So my experience is that the scarring stuff is not overly punishing, but it is an interesting puzzle that you can solve, which I'm happy with.
And to be fair, he did take Master Navigator. He had
he has that too?
Yes. But the thing is, he thought it applied to all the ships, and so that kind of messed with what he had done initially with the consular.
Got it. I think I remember Aaron saying something about that. Okay, well,
Yeah.
good. I'm glad he has Master Nav on the Venator. It's good. I'm telling you, Aaron is like 2 games away from being an absolute menace with this fat.
I keep
Um,
hearing this.
it takes time to learn. It's an interesting concept flying around with the ignition token because it changes the perception of range on the table
Yeah,
a
ignition is
lot.
the weirdest rule in the game by far.
Especially ignition from a Venator. It's totally different than an Onager because you
Hmm.
can go left, right, front. Super weird. So Chris, this is a pretty big battle. You chose a great objective, Mon Cala, defensive retrofit, and title. If the audience can guess what Chris's Recusent was going for here.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't have a defensive retrofit slot there, so
Gilded Aegis.
yeah, we
it's
are
gonna be interesting.
patriots.
So low morale, Ruben, has to be cleared with skilled spacers.
Yep. I
And
know.
that stays until it's cleared. So that's interesting.
I know.
The Republic,
I told him. I told him.
skilled spacers. I don't know. Do you guys have skilled spacers?
Nope. Sure
Oh,
don't.
buddy. Oh, buddy. All right. Well, that'd be interesting. Um,
Interesting's one word for it.
so the second battle, I can't remember if you declared Conquer Dawn.
Yeah,
No.
I attacked.
Is that the first one? Okay. So you attack Conquer Dawn.
I've got it up. I'm just not sure what double agent does.
After the second round, so the
So
third round, at the start of the
first of
third round,
all, the double agent ship gets a token every time it reveals.
yes. If it's yes, it has a token on it. So, which is okay. I didn't really need it. However, it's a useful trait. Now, what's really useful is you can discard the objective token off your ship and place it within distance 1. And then you can move your ship, overlap it, put the objective token back on your ship or another one of your ships, get 20 points, and then repeat that ad nauseum for the next 4 rounds.
It's stupid.
Wow, that
Yeah.
It's
So
garbage.
I threw it out the back of my Providence, and then my Gazanti just played kickball with this, and
That's why I looked infuriated when you walked by the table.
yeah. So Ruben couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
I engaged
Like-
his fleet for funsies at this
Yeah.
point, because no matter what, he wasn't going to overcome the 80-point victory point thing. So I was like, I'm going to try and scar this Pelta because that'll really get him going. Um,
Yeah, it would.
but yeah,
Let's shake the soda up before we give it to our friends.
yeah.
That's just how Garrett treats me.
It was pretty brutal. Well, I don't know. What do you think, Ruben?
That objective is heinous. It's a heinous objective. It's just wrong. Like, wow. Just wow. I played my normal deployment that I've been playing with this fleet after, a little bit of experience. Pelt in the mid, Venator, Acclimator 2 cutting in from the side. I'm trying to use Ruthless Strategists as like it's an underpick card. There's more generics in this. Maybe it's really useful, but like, I don't know. Versus a canny player, like they just go okay and like fly just out of your range and put down the measuring tool, and your Ruthless Strategist is basically useless.
You got the Ruthless 1 Tri-Fighter.
Like one Tri-Fighter, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
The points of the game, I actually looked at them, and it was like it's a couple points between us, but then the kickball just sails the game in the one direction.
It
I was,
didn't matter what
when I
I
was
did.
looking at the graphic, I was like, those losses are not really adding up there.
Yeah, we played a technical squad game, which is kind of every game of Rebellion and Random, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Like you can't really kill anything. Like you can't meaningfully engage with the larges without it being mostly your loss. So you've always got to attack their squadrons, but if they have enough squadrons where you can't just like pick them off and then fly away, or they just hide them behind their large or whatever other ship, you're not really fixing for a win there, right? So,
And you and I both have
fortunately,
thermal shields.
yeah,
So it made me shooting at Acclimator waste of time, and you
pointless.
shooting at my Providence waste of time.
Pointless. Now I accidentally deployed at speed 2 because I was just like it'd been a week, and you make that slight mental mistake, which means that the Pelta goes speed 1 the whole game. Well, it has to nav on the first turn to slow down so it doesn't overlap my squadrons, which means it goes speed 1, which means on turn 5 it drifts into the double arc of the Providence. When I should just had the fucking token and just gone whoop, right by him and only taken the one side shot and it'd have been fine. But oh well. Canny me flying and timing me being first player, I was able to get out of the freaking side shot at close. I had to land on a rock for it, but I got out of his close range and I still had my evade. I engineered with token at the very end, turn 6, pushed all my shields up, hit the rock, didn't pull projection mission line to shield failure. That's always the plan there, is don't pull projection mission line to shield failure. And then landed there.
I have that happen a lot to me.
Yeah, that's why I
Very
always think
common.
about it before I hit any of these stupid rocks. Like, you've always got to do the calculus. Then,
My favorite.
two reds and blues. Oh, and my V19 didn't die, which was
So
wild.
my favorite point of the whole battle was he had this V19 on a single hull point, and I wanted to just casually kill it and then bomb his Pelta. And 4 squadrons later, I didn't get a single hit on this V19.
Yeah,
It was amazing. It
it
was
was
like,
wild.
okay, well, I
And then
guess
I,
you
like,
get to keep that one.
And I veteran tokened to get a squad token to put the V19 like way out somewhere so he couldn't flak it and kill it to save myself 12 points. Because when you're playing technical squad Rebellion in the Rim, like you gotta like that Y-wing at 2 hull, that's 10 points.
Yeah.
Get.
Yeah. It was funny though. So yeah, double agent. Holy crap, we're gonna fix it.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
It's done.
It's like it's just unplayable.
It hurts
if
my
you,
soul.
If you don't do something really stupid. Yeah. So Concord Dawn, if we're looking at the map here. So this was another squadron planet. Listen, I'm tired of fighting the squadron planets. It's just how it's like working out for me. And now I'm afraid I'm gonna end up in another squadron situation. With the next pivotal. I'm gonna start chucking stuff out the airlock.
Get him out of here. Keep going.
But the reward skill spacers, Reuben really needed that. I took it from him, and I put it in my little box in my Providence, and I shined it.
Can't do anything about it. Like
yep.
I knew the game was a loss, but I knew I need for my fleet long term to get a particular have the option of a particular ace, and sometimes you just take the L to get the ace.
Yeah.
It also got me 2 extra
Delskin.
XP. Yeah,
Delskin.
or Bomberkin.
Bomberkin.
Yeah, Bomberkin.
But yeah,
now,
Concord Dawn.
Strategically, I'm not so sure that's the right plan now. Like, because of how the presence works and it impacts your movement, and the scarring being more impactful than it is in regular play, you're giving up a lot when you take the L to get a to get a unique squadron, and your opponent is also just getting a unique squadron too. So all you do is come out behind. And I don't know what to do about that besides go, I don't know.
Just a gamble.
The greens are just imbalanced.
It's just brutal. It's just
they're too good for the defender.
Part of the campaign. I think double agent just needs a tweak to make it more of an actual double agent, because you had 0 agency over your double agent. It was just a full on.
Like she was agent. On that bridge of that ship, just like popping wine or whatever, and we called her up, and she's like, "Nah, man, we're fine.
No, I'm gonna stay on this sweet Count Dooku bridge."
You know what? I've actually been talking to the CIS, and they seem pretty cool. And that's when we hung up.
But yeah, so success CIS
I like
there.
Roger.
I like Roger. The next CIS attack was against our old factory planet, Geonosis.
I feel like he's got some squads with that.
Touching the player edge. Looking over at the map, I don't think it really mattered which one they picked. Because I don't think the Venator made it further past the middle of the board. It was just kind of like speeding there, sending squads out. I know there was a lot of ramming involved with Jason's heart cells, trying to like put damage on the Venator to try and get those half hull points.
Interesting. Okay.
His LTTs though, and his 2 tri-fighters inflicted a lot of actual like squadron.
It was
losses.
a lot of dead squads over there.
Yeah, so he chewed through 2 arcs and 4 Y-wings, and a V-19. That's a lot of hull. If I do the math here, what is that? 24 plus 5 for a V19,
each for the Ys,
plus another 14 for the arcs.
That's a hell of a lot.
That's 43 points of damage. Jason put through.
Damn. Isn't he Gunner 2 now?
I think so. So that's not something to sniff at.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And then, but he 2 heart cells went down, taking shots from the Venator and all these bombers. So there's just a lot of fire exchange.
Mm-hmm.
Close battle, actually, in the end, with how the heart cells went down. I don't know. So they also played prototype recovery and did not interact with that item at all. Again, almost impossible to do. Reveal a command, distance 1, and roll blue crit. Because once you fly past it, you're like screwed.
The second player has an easier shot at it, if I recall correctly. They can roll a hit
it's hits or
crit.
crits.
Oh, hit or crit?
Whereas
That's a
the first player
chance.
has to roll a crit. And, they figure on a blue die, oh, well, I've got pretty decent odds, but I don't know. I don't like to gamble like that.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem with it is it takes your whole squad dial to do. So you need a supporting ship that's not going to be pushing your squads if you send a carrier to play prototype recovery.
And with the
it
number
can just
of
go
ships
sit over by the token.
With the number of ships that some of us are running, that's just not a good...
Yeah, it's just not possible.
Yeah. Well, with Jeff's fleet, it would have been suicide to attempt it with the Venator.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
He would have died. Jason would have torn him apart. So no prototypes for anybody. And those are gone now. Oh well.
And I mean, in a way, I was hoping that Aaron would actually get it because I would have taken my squads and just chew
it up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he can run away.
With a Skurg.
At speed 3. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Any other notes of that? So he's got low fuel now. To get rid of low fuel, you gotta use a resource token. Mm-hmm. And you guys have actually a good gluttony of resources. Because you're producing 3 per turn off your bases.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So that won't be too bad. You need some skilled spacers.
Well, we need some ally tokens, some skilled spacers, and we need like a couple of spy nets. If you'd give them to us, that'd be cool. Oh, and while you're at it, if you could send over a diplomat's token, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, start making this like the Hunger Games, where people will sponsor your fleet.
Yeah, man, community stuff. That's like not an awful idea.
That'd go so wrong so fast.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's pretty funny. So this planet had ordnance, ion, or titles, I gotta tell you, Jason's been chasing hard sell titles for a while now, so he was pretty
Oh, I've
excited.
heard.
to
I've heard from
engage
him.
here.
Yeah.
Uh, he's been trying to get those for his triple hard sell fleet. So I know we've talked about this before on the podcast, but taking 3 copies of the same ship is a real nightmare to
Yeah.
upgrade.
It sucks. Don't do it.
I just, we had a conversation about this in the Discord. I don't know if it was on the public side or on the private side, but it's just one of those things to where, really, if you were going to go with multiple smalls, you need ships that support each other, not ships that overload one thing,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just hard to collect like those. All 4 ships need the 4 same upgrade slots. So
Yeah. I think a lot of people, when they look at the map originally and they look at how the game's supposed to be played, they think that they can just go and do the same thing over and over, and there's going to be enough on the map to do that, and it's just not the case.
it just doesn't work out that
You've
way.
you've
and
got
it
to have a
takes-
fleet that will go anywhere.
and it takes time to accumulate that. I mean, honestly, so you're much better off thinking, okay, this ship is going to play this role, this ship is going to play this role, and this is going to play this, and we'll see what we can get to enhance
Yep.
those roles.
Yeah, and I build my fleets to the 250, so I know like where I want to get to, and then it's just a matter of a neat surprise as I'm playing the game to see like what order I go through and get everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes it just doesn't work. Like I had all these plans for my Providence, and I have hit. I'm pretty sure I'm going to hit squadrons 3 times in a row, and there's just like nothing I can do about it. It's just how it works out. But yeah, so that was Geonosis. No strategic effect tokens on this planet to gain, which kind of sucks for the Republic.
Unfortunate.
Like, oh my gosh, talk about like the
Yeah.
chances of that happening, right? The one planet you went on, you can't even get a token from.
And we can't really like strategically. It's not in our interest to base Ord Mantell yet.
Right, because if we go through it, we get low morale. But if you
Mhm.
base it, I get to just
Go right through.
bypass it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really interesting because Ord Mantell is a really good support planet. Like the shipyard token is definitely useful, and
Yeah.
the offensive retrofit there, solid thing to get. But like because it's part of the hyperlane, you really have to consider whether or not you want those. Is it worth the loss of the control of the map to get those actual resources for your fleets? It's pretty compelling.
yeah, and I think low morale is worse than low fuel.
Oh hell yeah, it
Oh,
is.
yes,
So,
yes, most definitely.
I think we're about to see a lot more low morale than low fuel or low supplies here, because the map's getting full. But the
Full for one
final,
team.
yeah, the final battle of the night was an absolutely daring raid by the Republic. They attacked our base at Felucia.
Mhm. Now,
And man, did we
let's set
have
the
this
stage
thing
for this.
geared up?
And this one is the
So-
one that you can see on YouTube. So just so
Yeah.
you guys know.
So in strategic command in headquarters of the GAR offensive, I'm sitting here, we're talking through all the strategy. We're looking at what to do here because it's really hard to get local initiative when you're not the initiative team. So to make that more clear, when you're not making the first attack of the round, it's extremely difficult to try to get an optimal pairing to where you can try and force a card or force movement on the opponent fleet where you can get a local advantage at a particular planet. Even with Independent Raider, it's difficult to do when you're not the team with the initiative. So our entire strategy was about trying to like fork your position to try and get some sort of local advantage with the condition cards between Sean and myself, and that's why I attacked Ord Mantell first, because I knew like it's really interesting because you know a lot about where everybody is depending on who fights where, but there's always one fleet that's in the wind somewhere, and it's always an X factor of where they end up. And you always have to think about that part. So it makes the thinking about the pairings even before actually doing the pairings really interesting. So I went to Concord Dawn to draw out one of their good players. And we figured that we were pretty confident that Jason went to Geonosis because he'd complained to me about not getting his foreman's labor. So I figured it was probably him, and he was the closest person there because he's been stuck at Sullust almost the entire first act. He's been stuck at Sullust or near there because of losing and getting drawn, retreating to bases and stuff. It's really interesting from like a maneuver standpoint how that all works. I didn't think it would be this cool, and it's really this cool. It's really fun. But I sit Sean down and I say, okay, if you attack Felucia, it could be Parrot, or it could be Chris or somebody else. Like, we may have gotten him with a card, or it could be Nick. This is going to be risky. You could attack Seleucami, get stuff that you want, and it's not going to be as bad. And he went for broke, man. Like, I gave him the options, and he took what he wanted. So then we're sitting there, we're talking about the pairings, and we're like, okay. Because they're playing extra games on Sundays because they're just really having a blast with this.
Yeah.
And they go through all the, like, what to do, if who it is, and how to fight it, and all this kind of stuff. And incidentally, all that preparation pays off in him not getting eviscerated in that trap. So, go ahead, Garrett.
So Sean's fleet is actually very good. He's got double acclimator with swivels and assault proton torpedoes.
He is a sledgehammer.
And a pelta. And he's got a fighter screen now. So, now the bad news. So, he shows up, comes out of hyperspace at Felucia, and this is the planet that we've installed our ion cannon on. And let me tell you, on a 3x3 map, where you put out 3 ion cannon tokens that fire 4 blue dice, you're going to get shot every turn with 4 blue dice. And Nick eviscerates an acclimator basically with just the ion cannon. And then he gets in range of the recusants, which have 4 reds out the front each, and then finishes off. And Sean makes the wise decision to get the hell out of there.
And we talked about it.
The ion cannon is undefeatable almost on a 3x3 map.
It's genuinely probably the best one. Fighter Wing's pretty good, but you can kill the Fighter Wing. You can't do anything about the planetary cannon.
Yeah.
So
on a 6x3, a PIC, you can outmaneuver it.
Some. It's not as bad.
Much easier than a 3x3. Because, you've played the yellow PIC. It's basically the same objective. But on a 3x3, it's banned. The yellow PIC is banned in this format because of how bad it is. So this is definitely the strongest base defense. Yeah.
Because it shoots always. It doesn't go away.
Right. It doesn't disappear. So, yeah. It was a rough one. There was no chance.
Yeah. Not with it being ion cannon.
No.
If it was station assault, maybe.
This is like a classic.
That's a rough game.
It's a classic Clone Wars trap, right? They come out of hyperspace and it's the worst possible fleet to engage, and they have an ion cannon.
Yeah, it was testament to the rules and everything. The hyperspacing out, and the narrative of it, super iconic. Glad that Sean and Jeff went over that to have that strategy ready, so that he didn't just not know what to do and implode. Because if he imploded, that would have severely damaged our ability, our logistics, through scarring. So
yeah, because you would have lost another 150 points.
Yeah.
Of stuff.
So are you going to be able to repair everything?
As it stands right now, yes.
Okay.
Going in the pivotals, yeah. But yeah, so that's the next thing. Pivotals. So this ended our act with the campaign points sitting at
what?
I've got 8, and the Republic has 5. So CIS at 8, Republic at 5. So the Republic, Reuben, you guys need a win in this all-out offensive.
Yeah, we have.
Oh, that's the other thing. That's another thing to talk about. So
we
when they
have
attacked our
announced what's
base,
going on.
not totally. I mean, we kind of know. I can say it. But the campaign points, because you attacked our base, we got 2 points instead of 1 point. That's a big swing.
It's a lot.
So it's another gamble.
5 to 8.
So, but yeah, okay. So Reuben, what is your first pivotal move?
So we have chosen to play all-out offensive, targeting Ryloth, with the secondary target being Smuggler's Run. And we have assigned our attacking fleets.
Big.
And that will be a secret.
So, well, we can announce it now, because we'll be setting up our stuff so that when we get there Thursday, we can immediately play. So I'll say it now. Do you want to say who's attacking, or do we want to just say that we have him assigned?
Just say that you've assigned people.
All right. Well, we got him assigned.
I'm gonna have to go tell my team. Technically, it doesn't matter. I don't even know if they're watching. It's fine.
Yeah.
If they're not watching, I don't know.
So we're doing conquest of Kessel.
Okay, that's exactly what I expected you to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not gonna evacuate.
You could have. I mean,
no.
We've got you right where we want you.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, it's really logged in there on the Kessel side. Yeah, so we're gonna conquest Kessel and see if we can take that base. Yeah,
It's almost like you've been working a whole act towards that. I've seen it from the very beginning.
Yeah. Funny enough, I kind of wanted Magito, but I got overruled.
Interesting. Yeah,
I wanted to hit Kessel the last round.
I kind of considered.
Yeah, I had to talk Chris out of attacking Kessel.
Hitting Magito. Yeah, those bases are fucking savage sometimes.
Yeah.
They're
So
scary.
we don't know. I don't have any Spynet tokens, so I don't know what base defense he have. I hope it's not PIC. I hope it's just. I've got a lot of fighters. The CIS in general.
Yeah,
Our fleets are becoming a problem logistically. All these.
Well,
fighters.
if you guys are doing base assault Kessel, then I guess we can just announce fleets on there. Like, we can do it live.
Hey, I don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, I know who it is, so.
Okay. We've
who's
got all-out offensive is Sean and Jeff.
Sean and Jeff. Oh man, all right, cool.
Uh-huh.
So, Jason is defending because he's right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm flying all the way from Concord Dawn down to Ryloth, going the route that gives me low supplies because I have ready defender. So I'm not going to go through the hyperlane. I'm going to take the huge back roads all the way down.
The back way.
And take low supplies is what I'm going to take.
Interesting.
So yeah. But so now we know what that means. Chris and Nick are attacking Kessel.
And then it's me and Sean. Well, me and Aaron.
You and Aaron. So it's going to be the Requisite Boys beatdown. So do we want to talk about the controversial change to larges?
Yeah, we probably should.
Yes. This is
considering big. that I pulled the player. Like,
actually,
I did the old
think
developer
we
thing.
don't really have time to go into that tonight. So,
all right,
we'll discuss the aftermath of that in a couple of weeks here.
All right, it's gonna be big. It's a big change.
It is.
But guys, thank you for joining me tonight, and I will apologize again for all the audio issues that we have experienced lately. I don't know. I went to school for audio engineering, so I really should be better at this, and I just forget to hit buttons every now and again.
No, it's okay.
So, we will, like I said, be playing on Thursday. We will not be streaming on Thursday. We will have the recording of the Pivotal Battle up on Saturday at some point. I can't guarantee what time, but I
Which
hope you
pivotal?
guys will join us. Yeah.
Which one do you think?
Um, I would
They're
have
both
to look at my
pretty
list.
cool.
I would have to look at my list as to whose turn it is on the stream.
Okay.
So I may put an announcement about that on the Facebook page and in the Discord. So guys, if you haven't already signed up on Facebook or Discord, join us. We like talking about the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need to get the Louisville groups into this Discord. I think that we need to bring everyone into one spot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
for discussions.
we probably should, especially if they're going to ask me a bunch of questions about rules and stuff.
Yeah, because then it can farm out, and then everyone can
Yeah.
talk to each other about the
Yeah.
game.
So I can get bombarded by more stuff.
Yes, that's welcome to my Discord. Yes,
We're just trying to make you lose your mind so that you don't play as well. It's just
That
the way
that happened a while ago.
yeah, just get overloaded, and then that's it.
Like I
But
take my
anyways,
walks at work, and all I think about is this stuff.
yeah. Thanks again, Chris, for having us. It was good.
Yeah, thank you for joining me, and I hope you guys have a nice night. I've got a few things that I'm going to close out with the audience, but again, take care, guys.
All right, goodbye.
Good night.
So, again, thank you guys for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show despite the audio issues that we had. I recognize that there were a couple occasions when I changed the scene to the graphics that they didn't have some audio. Hopefully you didn't miss out on too much. On the YouTube version of this, we'll be editing out the blunder at the start of the show, but again, these things happen. I apologize for that. I hope you're learning what's going on with the campaign. I hope you're enjoying the campaign and keeping up with it. Again, will not be streaming on Thursday because I still haven't figured out what's causing the audio to get out of sync when I'm streaming. And I don't want to take a chance on messing up on the big battle there. On the other hand, I will the following week go ahead and try streaming again, hoping that I have found the issue with the audio on the synchronization there. On top of that, next Monday we will also be doing the Swoder stream with Mallet. So I hope you guys have been enjoying that. If you have, let me know. Join us on the Discord. Join us on Facebook. We're on Instagram too. We love hearing from you, okay? So I hope you'll join us for that. I want you guys to have a great week, and thank you for joining us. Take care.
Thank you.